It has been a very hot minute since I did a video. I think it's actually probably been over a year. Maybe not. When did we leave Nova Scotia? Maybe not quite a year yet. How is everybody? As you can see, I'm still a hot mess, and a hot minute and everything else. I'm doing a YouTube on the floor video because that is actually the best angle and camera and everything in between, regardless. If any of you watch my old videos, you will be used to my ramblings, and I will try to stay saying because I do that a lot. So I'm just here to say hello to everyone. We are in quarantine still. Obviously, there have been restrictions lifted. I am now in Ontario, and we moved back to Ontario from Nova Scotia the end of July last year. So it's like, what is it, almost, I don't even know what day it is. It's the third week of May. That's what happens when you're trapped in the house, right? You forget what time it is. And I've been back into a fitness routine for the last 6 weeks now. We have been in quarantine mode for 8 weeks. I actually went back to school in February, so I got a month and a half in, and then that got shut down. Sadly, I will not be going back to at least August, which is really, really crappy. I'm just gonna wait for that truck to go by, because it was an accelerated carpentry program, which followed with an apprenticeship. So I'm kind of now stuck in limbo of what I'm going to do with myself. Yeah, that's a whole other video of depression and disappointment and nothing I can do about it. And I hate not being in control of stuff, but it is what it is, and that is life the way it is, right? So we can't stress over things that we have no control over. Easier said than done. I would like to come on here and I would have been a transformed person by the last time you saw me, but clearly that is not the case. I still pretty much look the same. I'm pretty sure I pretty much still weigh the same. I'm trying to stay away from the scale, even though my YouTube channel is A Girl and Her Scale, but it's more of the battle I have with my scale. And yeah, I just have a psychological issue with it, and when I start weighing myself, I become obsessive. So I pretty much don't weigh myself anymore. I try to go on clothes fitting and how I feel and that kind of thing. So I'm going to try to gather my thoughts here. Anyway, I just came on to say hello and let you know that I am still trying, and hopefully one day we will get forward past the trying and actually be successful. If you've watched any of my previous videos from before, obviously not in the last year because there hasn't been any, you will know that I was actually in a, even if you haven't watched them, I'll just tell you now, I was in a car accident in April of 2018, and I have struggled. 2018 April, that spring, I was in the best shape I have been in my entire life. I was pretty much almost out of the 200s and into the 100s. Not that weight is really an issue, but I know for me and the past that when I get to a certain weight or around that certain weight, that I know that I feel better about myself, etc., etc. So it's more about a size than it is weight, but we all say that, and we know very well that we like that number on the scale to be somewhere in a ballpark of what we have in our heads. So unfortunately, I'm nowhere near that right now. I did weigh myself this morning. I don't really know if I want to share it, but I guess I might as well. Full disclosure, I am 227, so I'm pretty much the same weight as I was last summer. I've had a lot of setbacks in regards to pain over the last pretty much 2 years. I have a lower back injury. It has been semi-diagnosed by a physiotherapist. I never got to go to have, I guess, scans or x-rays done, because when this whole pandemic thing happened, it was around the time that I was getting treatment from the physiotherapist, and then the insurance company cut me off for physio. They gave me a lump sum payment, which I took, and I bought a YMCA membership so that I could do my exercises in the pool, which I ended up with. I was able to get 4 weeks of hydrotherapy in, and it made a world of difference to my back. But at the time, I had a job where I was sitting all day. I was in a call center and in very uncomfortable chairs. If any of you have ever worked in a call center, you know that they don't spend money on chairs because they really don't give two shits about their employees. They just want bodies to fill seats. Give me a shout out if you've ever worked in a call center. You'll know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that actually made my back go downhill farther and farther. So I started looking to see, well, what can I do differently? What can I get into? I have no money, so getting into school, it's not really, excuse me, it's not really something that I can afford to do. As an adult, as an old adult, I want to give you some advice if you're younger and just coming out of high school or in your 20s. If you can, get a student loan, or if someone will lend you money, please go to school. Do something. I don't care what it is. Get a piece of paper, because this world relies on pieces of paper. They want you to have some kind of college or university. It really actually doesn't matter what it is, because I have friends that have history degrees and they went and taught in China or Taiwan or whatever it is. At least it would give you an opportunity to travel, right? So just get a piece of paper. World of advice. If I could go back and give myself any kind of advice, it would be that. It would be stay in school. I don't care what program it is, just stay in school and just finish it. Anyway, that's my rant done for about education. So I got into this program. It's women's only, and it is government funded, but they do not cover your expenses. So that did mean that I had to keep... I'm trying to figure out why the audio seems to be delayed on this video, and I really hope that's not an issue. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, apparently that audio delay when I look at myself speaking is only on my end because I did a playback and it's fine. Okay, where the hell was I? I was talking about school. Okay, work. So yeah, I was in the call center, my back was getting worse. I was thinking about going on disability. It was so bad. I still am now because it really is, some days I'm done for. Like I just can't. If you've ever had, again with my rambles, I can't keep my thoughts straight. My lower back injury was diagnosed by the physiotherapist as most likely being a bulging disc. So ever since then, ever since I got that, why it's taken, I don't know, a year and a half to get somebody to say that to me, ever since I started doing things that were geared towards trying to strengthen and lengthen that out based on having a bulging disc, my back is actually progressively getting better. So I got into this program, and it's carpentry for women. Obviously it's not just carpentry for women, but it's a program based, it's a carpentry program that you can then go into an apprenticeship, which takes 4 years to become a journeyman. That's a whole other story. If you want to, there's lots of stuff on YouTube if you want to find out about apprenticeship. Anyway, so this program, once you graduate, gives you your level 1 certificate, so you become a level 1 apprentice. So it's better than being a unskilled laborer or just going out to a job site and say, hey, can you get me a job? Because clearly I'm not a baby anymore. So I needed some skills, and I'm trying to get out of the dead-end job. I have lots of skills, but they don't what word am I looking for? They don't, I don't know what the word is. They don't move from my skill set into a job that makes money, right? I can work from home, and I'm not going to make enough money in order to survive. So anyway, so the whole plan behind this was to graduate in, when did our apprenticeship was supposed to start? I think actually pretty much now. I think we were supposed to be finished our classroom and our theory, like our shop component and our theory, because we're also taking welding and electrical, and we were actually supposed to be in on-job training right now. And I was actually told them, placement counselor, that I have to have a paid placement, because my margin to get from working full-time, because I then went down to full-time, I took a cleaning job where it was 4 hours a week, 5 days a week, so Monday to Friday, and it was a hell of a lot of work going to school for 8 hours. As some of you know, being adult, if you've been an adult student and trying to work, I don't even know how people do it when they have kids. I really don't. All the power to you, because I don't understand how people can maintain going to school full-time, having kids to look after, and working. You people are amazing. Anyway, so it was a very fine margin of how long can I work part-time while going to school before we kind of get into a financial pickle that's going to cause problems. So it was all laid out really to the T, to the day, and then somebody did something they shouldn't have in a different country, which caused my life to go into a volcanic eruption, as many of you have also experienced. So now I'm at home, and my last day of school, I believe, was March 18th. And they said, we'll give it a week. And then a week came and went. And then they said, we'll give it 2 more weeks. And then they came and went. So after 2 weeks of sitting at home, I thought I need to get up, because if I sit on my ass, I don't know how long this is going to last, but I don't have an excuse anymore. My excuse before for working out was, yes, my body hurts and I don't have any time. And then it suddenly became, well, I have time, so let's try to do something that, and like I said, my back was getting better, and I actually got an inversion table, and it made a world of difference to my back and being able to stretch myself out. Like now I don't even use it. Like before I was on it twice a day just to keep my back stretched out. If you don't know anything about that, you can look it up too. It's an inversion table. It's very, very old school. Buy them on Amazon. I think I paid $120 for mine. It really has saved my back, like very much so. And again, off on my tangent. So where was I? Yeah, so I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking I really need to get some kind of workout. I tried to start walking the dogs during the day, but at the beginning of this whole quarantine lockdown thing, people really weren't taking it seriously where I live. And they were literally like crossing the road in front of me. And I was like, are you, like, I was purposely coughing just to see if I could get people to go away from me. Like, I'm not a very extroverted person anyway. I'm very introverted, but you know, I like who I like, and I don't like, I'm not a big fan of strangers. And then this happened, and I was like, can you get the hell away from me? I don't want you anywhere near me. I don't know if you're sick or not sick or whatever. I was just trying to walk my dogs during the day, and that wasn't happening. So we actually had to switch to walking the dogs at nighttime. So we take them, because we live kind of downtown, so we take them to somewhere on the outskirts of town where there are no people. And that's what we do with the dogs at nighttime. So anyway, that exercise kind of went away, because my husband doesn't really walk as fast as I do, and it's more like we're there for the dogs and not more for us, right? So the dogs, I don't know where the other small dog has gone, probably back outside. Anyway, so yeah, I was like, I need to do something, because if I sit on my ass, I have no idea how long this thing is going to go on for. So I think it was, yeah, so it would have been at the beginning of April, I started doing stuff. So I started off with non-weight bearing cardio, like not non-weight bearing, like no weights is what I started off as. So I can lift with my arms and stuff, and that's not really a problem. My upper back doesn't cause me issues, it's my lower back. So any kind of lower body tends to make issues. But I gradually worked my way up, and I started, because I have a few weights at home, like I have 3 weights. The biggest one is 8 pounds, and I have resistance bands. So I just gradually worked myself up, and week by week I started to add on, and I started doing cardio. I can put a couple links into, it's called The Body Project. They have a YouTube channel. They have a lot of beginner geared workouts, and they're actually really good, like motivationally. I really enjoyed doing their workouts. Excuse me. So I just started to build on that. And I'm trying to keep my eating under control. Like before this whole thing happened, I was kind of like, I really need to get my eating under control because I don't have the energy to exercise. So what I've been trying to do the last week has not been good, because I've been really bad for eating. Actually, probably in the last 2 weeks, I'm going to be honest about it. Okay, this video is starting to get long. So what I've been doing is I'm trying not to eat anything sugary 5 days a week. And I'm trying to limit my simple carbohydrates 5 days a week. And then on the weekend, I have a little bit of a, I guess you would call it a cheat. It's not really. Like, I'll have coffee with sugar in it instead of coffee with sweetener. Or I'll have a dessert. Or I'll have a white bun or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going crazy on the weekends. I'm trying not to. And I'm trying not to drink too much because it's summertime and I'm home and we like to have drinks when it's warm. We have a really nice deck out back at this apartment that we have now. So I'm trying to limit things. The last 2 weeks I have been bad about limiting stuff. And it's showing. Like, there was a difference. And I've been really, really down in the last couple days because I've just been like, it doesn't look like anything has changed. And then I weighed myself this morning. I'm like, yeah, I'm the same as I was last year. So... but I can see in my face, like my face has gotten thinner in the last 6 weeks. And my husband has actually noticed, like, you know, your arms look smaller. And I am not, there's a YouTube follower I have and he wants me to do a flex. And it's not going to happen. You know who you are. It's not going to happen yet. I'm sorry. It's just not defined enough to be showing that off yet. So here I am. It is 6 weeks into lockdown, if not lockdown, because lockdown has been lifted and people are being idiots. So I'm sure that lockdown will reinstate itself because there's going to be some kind of crazy outbreak again. And yeah, I mean, where I am, I'm in Northern Ontario. I don't really classify. When you've lived in the Arctic, it's hard to classify Northern Ontario as Northern Ontario. I'm on the cusp, the line of Northern Ontario, according to Revenue Canada. So I don't really consider us to be northern, but we have very, very thankfully, luckily, very few cases up here. Considering how stupid people are in this town, it really does shock me because no one seems to give two shits about anybody else. So hopefully we don't have an outbreak. I will stay up here in my little bubble. I miss my best friend and I miss my mother-in-law and I would really like to see these people. So I would really, really hope that things can kind of go back to normal. It's just, I'm really, really upset about school not happening until August because it just causes financial difficulties. And I'm really hoping it's not going to become a struggle in the long run because the whole point of going back to school was to make things financially better for us. So anyway, that is my long-winded update. I hope all of you are doing all right. You may see more of me, you may not. I don't know. I don't really know if there's much stock in the content when I don't seem to make any progress. And then I get really upset about it. So I don't know if there's any point in making more videos, like, regularly, because I'm not really, I don't know. I just don't seem to be making much progress lately, and it's really, really bringing me down. So I thought I would put a video out to see if anyone is still... I still am getting new subscribers somehow. I don't really understand that. So I thought, why not? I might as well put something up here. It's been a really long time since I've said anything to anybody, so why not? Anyway, I hope you're all doing okay, and I hope you have made some progress on your fitness journey. At least doing something, I guess, is better than not doing anything at all, right? Even for my mental health, it's better to do something than nothing at all. So we'll see. Maybe I'll feel better in a couple days. I've just not had a great week mentally, so we'll see. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've actually made it to the end of the video, I think it's probably going to be at least 20 minutes long, which is really long for me, but I would appreciate it if you made it to the end. Maybe you care. Maybe you don't. Who knows? Anyway, anything motivational you want to share or ask, go ahead. I'm here. I am at home by myself with the dogs. So yeah, I will answer any question that you would like to post to me. All right? Everyone have a good day. It's beautiful and sunny here. It's going to be like so hot on the weekend. I don't know what happened. It was like snowing 2 weeks ago. So. All right. Done with my ramble. Goodbye, everyone.